Welcome to the dressing room. I'm Kelsey, your host, and your closet coach.
This week, I decided that I'm going to play around with like men's button-up shirts. At the beginning of last week, I was wearing a very similar outfit. I was wearing this and some hot pink leggings. I really like to layer like men's shirts on top of my more casual outfits just to make them feel a little bit more elevated. Like even the fact that I'm wearing like leggings, it already feels like a little bit more fancy, just not as relaxed. There's a couple different ways that I would wear this actual outfit, and this blue thing is an entire jumpsuit, which is really cool, because that means that I can wear it just like open like this. I can also do like what I had, just a single button, just to kind of keep it there-ish, but then, you know, as I'm walking, if it opens, it's totally fine because this is a whole jumpsuit. In terms of like shoes and everything, these, I've done it with these boots before, which I love. And these boots, if you haven't seen these yet, I painted these. So they are my own custom creation, but I really like how the blue and like the pink with my hair just all kind of like works together. And these boots are actually pretty comfortable to walk in, surprisingly, because there really isn't that much of a heel. So I would literally wear this just running errands. I have a couple different bags that I would pair with it, but I didn't bring my bags into the studio this evening. So let's play with some belts and some hats, shall we? Let's see. I have this hat, which already has a pink leather little band around it. So this is a great option. As always, pink is always the right answer for me anyway. You do you, but I'm obviously into pink. I feel like we do, to make this really not so much like just running errands, but maybe an outfit that I could really wear, you know, out to lunch or something like that. I feel like we need a belt. We need something to kind of pull this together and make it feel a little bit more tailored, because I prefer that. So let me see what options I have here. I have this really wide silver belt. This is quite a look, and I think I would probably like force it open a little bit to give it some shape. That's really fun. The great thing about these boots is I put silver and gold into the boot, so you know, like the quote unquote rule that you're not supposed to mix metals in terms of color. I really like to mix metals because I just think it's more fun. And so the boots have both gold and silver in them, which makes it really easy to then put silver or gold jewelry with it. So this is cool. I would totally just like run to the grocery store or go to lunch or whatever. If the belt feels like a little too much for the particular day, let's see what other options I have. I could also do a little scarf. We're bringing even more color into this, which is, I think, very fun. And this adds more layers too. kind of fun. This is a totally different look. I really like this scarf over this shirt with this, but maybe we need to change the hat and the boots to really work with this. So the hat is going away. Let's try maybe no hat, or a white baseball hat. That's kind of interesting. And then if we switch the shoes to maybe something a little bit more casual, then the hat and the shoes are more casual, but the silk scarf is bringing some fun. These are a little bit difficult to get off if you don't put on socks. Oh, okay, there we go. So, yeah, more casual sneakers. Okay, these are great because they match the blue. So if we did something like this, we've got tone on tone with the blue, but then it's kind of calling back the white and the black in the hat. And the scarf is adding a little bit of like flair. So that's fun. Okay, let's move on to the next thing I wanted to try. So I have two other ideas here. I have a lot of men's shirts. This one has the black detail on the collar and the cuff. Little navy blue linen. This is way less tailored, so this definitely veers more casual. I don't know if I'll do anything with this evening. This is really fun because this is black linen, but then I chopped it off. So I typically put this on as kind of like, I guess it would be kind of in place of like a bolero or something like that. So if I already have a full look going on, but I just need one more top layer, but that is like just to my waist, not too long, I usually go with this. Here's another white one. This has a more tuxedo detail to it. And it's vintage, so the fabric is really nice, which I love, of course. And we have pink, because why not? So one of the ideas I had, I'm gonna try it with this one, with the black detail, for two reasons. Because I like the black detail for what I'm gonna do, and this particular shirt is just a little bit more fitted. This shirt that I'm wearing now, this is probably like a men's extra large-ish, maybe 2X. So there's just a lot of room, which is perfect for this look. But this look, I'm gonna try to put the dress over this. So we have a little black and white going on. And so the white shirt hopefully will be not too bulky under the dress. We'll give it a shot. I'm also gonna put on some black tights with this and tuck the shirt into the tights. So I think that will help with the bulkiness as well. And then we'll go from there. We'll style it from there and see what happens. So I am going to step out into my dressing room and we will be back shortly. 2 seconds. Okay, I wanted to see how this was gonna work before I even did the work of putting the black tights on. I feel like this this is cool. I think I would button this all the way to the top. If I could button it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's cute. This has a cool like bow in the back that controls the length of the straps. So I think I need to tie it a little bit tighter, but that's a little bit hard to do on my own. So we're just gonna go with it for the moment. But this is fun. So with black tights, I think black tights would be great. And then probably I would do my white Doc Martens. Just really keep going with that black and white look. Yeah, that's fun. That's cute. I love this. Okay, I would probably, like jewelry wise, I would probably do pearls, something like really, really classic. I would not do a belt. I like the way that this dress fits. It doesn't really need like an accent at the waist or anything. The bow is adorable. Okay, maybe a hat. I think this would be really cute. To add something just a little bit different. Let me shush my hair. Yeah, I like that. It brings a little bit of interest to the black and white, black and white, black and white. Super cute. Yay! Okay, cool. Next, on to our next outfit, and we are doing fantastic on time. I love it. Okay. Let's put these shoes to the side. All right. My next idea is a skirt. So I have this skirt. It's black corduroy and it's kind of, it's like an A-line, very like kind of a little bit 70s, kind of a little bit Western. So I want to see what happens when I layer a men's button-up shirt over it, and I'm not going to tuck it in. I'm going to see what happens when I put it over the top, and then I'm going to play around with belts to kind of just maybe get the proportion that I'm looking for. We'll see what happens. I've never tried these outfits before, so other than the first one, which I was telling you I wear like to the grocery store. So I shall be right back. And let's do pink. Let's try the pink over the skirt. We'll see if this works. Okay. This is gonna need a lot more work, styling wise. And maybe I should have steamed this shirt before filming, but that's okay. We're gonna go with it. So, my idea involves maybe a little more fitted look. So I'm gonna just button these cuffs instead of folding them up and trying to get a more casual look. I'm going to button them on the tightest setting. There's one. Okay. So the skirt itself is very high-waisted, which is great. So it goes all the way up to my waist, which is good because that's where I'm going to put a belt. So I'll have a nice place for it to kind of sit and give some shape. So I think we need to go all the way up with the buttons too, or at least as a starting point. This shirt is fairly oversized. Not quite as much as the first white one, but it is a little bit oversized. So let's start tailored, and we can back off if we need to. Okay, this is getting there. It is very, like, I like the neck and the sleeves tailored like they are. It's very just like straight up and down through the center. So let's definitely add a belt. Oh, red might be kind of cool. Sometimes pink and red looks really fun together. And since we already have two different colors of pink going on with the hair and the shirt, this might be a great addition. This is also a vintage belt. This was my grandmother's red leather belt. So it kind of goes with the vibe too. Whenever you're putting a belt over the top of something that's really bulky, a really good way to get it to kind of sit right, like look how messy those wrinkles are in the back. And it's a little bit too flat here, which is making it just kind of like fold in a strange way. So I want to move some of the shearing to the front. And a good way to do that is to pinch top and bottom opposite of the belt, and then kind of scooch where you want things to go. And you can just kind of like play around with it until you can get it to look more like you want it to look. So I need a little more fabric in the front. Usually you don't want too much shearing like right on the side, because it'll just kind of like give you an extra volume. But the way that this is sitting right now, it's sitting like right on top of my hip. So that looks great. Better. I can kind of force it open. Maybe I don't want to, because now the skirt is kind of sinking. So maybe I actually want to button this last button. There we go. So see how the front already is sitting a lot better after I kind of moved all the fullness around. Now, kind of same thing with the back. The back is going to be a little bit more difficult because the belt is thinner, so it's just not going to control the fabric as well as it is on the front. So that's kind of a trial and error. I like to have a little more poof on top and have the bottom sit flatter instead of, if I do that, see how it kind of flattens over my butt? It's a little weird. So, a little extra there. Cute. Okay. The colors are kind of working for me. When I originally bought this skirt, I did plan on hemming it so that it just wasn't so long, but maybe like here-ish, you know, still below the knee. But this is very long. So shoes might be a little bit more difficult, but we're gonna work it out. We're gonna find something. Excuse me. Okay. Since we have the pink and the red, actually, I think for shoes, let's just stay plain black. These are a little bit of a heel, so it is going to kind of elongate my legs a little bit more, which is going to be good because I feel like this length of skirt, even on me, can like shorten my legs, and I feel kind of frumpy. But with these, it's not drawing too much attention at all to my feet because it's just solid black, and they're suede, and so like the corduroy and then the suede, it just is kind of like, but then it's giving me a little bit more height. That's cool. Simple, 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 simple. And then I feel like we need more on top. You know what we need? We need flower pins. These. I made these. My brand is called Viola Moon, and I make all of these out of silk scraps. So they're like kimonos, saris, things like that. Silk scraps that would have been thrown away. So I think what we need is just like a lot of flowers. I'm gonna put these all down the front as if it were the buttons. Good. That's looking way more fun. I really do want this to open. I just think it looks too bulky and frumpy without it. Yes. There. Better. That's fun. Okay, so another men's shirt outfit, and I think this looks really feminine. Even though we do have the oversized men's button-up shirt, like the sleeve is technically too long. It's really, you know, there's a lot of fabric here. But I think by keeping it tailored at the cuffs and at the neck, we're making it a lot more feminine. And of course, like cinching it at the waist and adding flowers, we're on board. I love this. What do you think? Cute. Amazing. Okay, well, those are my 3 outfits. Thank you for joining me in the dressing room, and I will see you here next week, 6 p.m. Pacific, Sundays, every Sunday. Join me. The next 2 weeks, I'm going to be traveling, so that's going to be very interesting because I'm thinking of taking on a little challenge. I will keep you posted, but I will be at my sister's house, and then I will be at my parents' house. I'm thinking that I'm going to challenge myself to create an outfit for myself from their closet, plus whatever I happen to pack with me. But I'm not going to pack anything specifically for the challenge. I'll just have, you know, some basics and things like that that fit me. I'm not really either of their sizes, but you know what? I think that's the fun part. And I'm just going to experiment and see what I can come up with out of someone else's closet. So, see you then. Bye. Wear what you want.